It was 2 weeks ago, but the afterglow of Canada's thrilling gold medal win at GM Place continues because tonight was the first opportunity that Canuck fans had to welcome back their hero, Team Canada goaltender, Olympic gold medalist Roberto Luongo. Where is the medal?
It's in my pocket right here.
Oh, well, apparently you carry it with you at all times, do you?
It's always close by. I wear it in my equipment during the games and stuff, so it's pretty neat.
Sweet, though.
That's beautiful.
It's awesome.
What did you think of the reception tonight?
It was awesome. I mean, it was fantastic. The whole time, the whole process from the start of the Olympics to now, nothing but support, and the fans have been great, so I was really happy to be able to enjoy this with them.
All right, before we go any further, we have to make an announcement here. Roberto Luongo's streak is over, ladies and gentlemen. This is your fourth appearance on After Hours. In the previous three, you had to come on after losses. Here's what you had to say 2 years ago. Let's watch.
And I know you pointed out that the last time you did After Hours was a game in against Calgary here, and you lost that one. So is this your final appearance on the program?
This will be my final time on After Hours, but I decided to go full gear just to get us some extra work done by the way I played tonight. So.
You recall that?
I do remember. And actually, I think I appeared once more after last year.
I was going to say, you were gracious enough to join us last year in Phoenix in a tough game after a loss. And I recall that we inflamed the whole market here for about 2 weeks with a comment that you made about re-signing in Vancouver. But here you are now with the Olympic gold medal, a new deal, and a win tonight. I just don't know how we can screw this up tonight.
I think we're good. We're good to go.
All right, Kevin, let's talk about the Olympic tournament.
Yeah, the Olympics. I mean, you couldn't have written a better script, obviously, with it being here. And this is the first time you probably had a chance to play in a tournament internationally of this magnitude at home. What was it like being here in your home city, Vancouver, playing in your own building?
It was unbelievable. I mean, I had the best time of my life. It was so much fun. The fan support was unbelievable. The first game against Norway was outstanding, and then even the third game against the USA when I didn't play in warm-ups, fans were going nuts every time I stepped in there. So it was really fun, and obviously the turnout was unbelievable. And I'm just happy that this happened, not only for me but the city of Vancouver and all of Canada.
Now, you said we asked you this morning if you spend any time at home or if you're at the Olympic Village. So I'm sure some of the fans would probably want to get a feel for that.
Well, we spend most of the time at the Village. The only opportunity we had was nights after the games. We got to go home and sleep in our beds, or other guys at the hotel with their families, and we had to report back to the Village the next morning to go on the team bus to practice. So it wasn't much time to spend at home, but in a short tournament like this, you want to be with the guys as much as possible and develop some good chemistry.
Let's bring the fans in quickly if we could, Tim. I think we have that graphic question about Olympic activities, don't we? Here it is, Greg from Williams Lake. Other than hockey games, did you get to take in any of the other Olympic events or festivities?
Unfortunately not. I mean, it was a compact tournament. We were playing pretty much every second day, and sometimes back-to-back. So the little time we did have, we just spent it with our families. We didn't get much opportunities to see them during the tournament, so we spent some time at the hockey house right next to the GM Place here, and that was pretty much it.
Let's talk about the nuts and bolts of the tournament. And I think heading into it, most people thought that although there are differences in the resumes of the three goaltenders, there was little to choose with respect to talent, and that if one guy faltered, the other guy would be in pretty quickly. One of the other two. Was that your view of it?
I didn't know what to expect, to be honest with you. I just had my mindset, coming in, I was just going to have fun, and no matter what my role was going to be, I was going to be supportive and be the best that I can be and help my teammates the best way that I can.
When did Mike Babcock let you know that you were going to go and that it could be yours to run with the rest of the way?
It was about maybe an hour or so after the U.S. game. He called me on my phone, so I got a little nervous right away. But he said, you're playing next game, and it's your turn to run with it the rest of the way. So obviously I was really excited and gracious for the opportunity that they gave me.
And absolutely no pressure there, right?
No, not at all. Thank God it was a GM Place where I feel comfortable, stopping the puck, and I think that helped out a lot, to be able to play in front of the home fans here. And I think something else that really helped me was all my experiences at the World Championships and the World Cups, where a lot of times I had to come in.
Right.
A couple times once the World Championship, Sean Burke got hurt in the semis. Right. I had to jump in and then play that game in the
World
final.
Cup.
World Cup, yeah. In Toronto, where Marty hurt his hand, and I had to step in the semis. So I think that really helped me a lot to deal with the pressure of coming in a tournament of this magnitude.
Outside of the World Junior, you just mentioned World Cup and World Championship. How different was this brand of hockey than the other two?
It was a little bit different. I think it was more NHL style, just because it was in an NHL rink, and you know, a lot of NHL players obviously involved. You know, sometimes at the World Championships, you know, not all the guys go, and there's a lot of European players there from their club teams and stuff like that. So it had a great feel to it all around, and I was really comfortable, except for maybe going to play the puck in the corners where there was no trapezoid this time.
Right. Before we get to the gold medal game, was there a personal highlight for you in the 4 victories leading up to it? And that, of course, was the shutout against Norway, 8-2 win over Germany, 7-3 over Russia, 3-2 against Slovakia.
I think it's probably the save on demo. You know, in the,
what a coincidence! We just happened to have it.
Yeah. Nice. So you know, obviously it was at the last minute of the game, and at first I didn't know it was Pavel that took that shot. I just you know, thought it was one of their guys, and then when we were shaking hands in the lineup, he had a few words for me, and that's when I realized that it was him, and it made it so much sweeter that I got off of him.
His expression said it all, though. He was just beside himself that he missed that.
Yeah,
you stopped him. That was
as soon as I made the first save, I just looked over and I saw the puck right on the guy's stick. So I just tried to put as much body across there. Unfortunately, hit the cuff of my glove and went out the other way.
And here's a question then from Sattler in Owen Sound, Ontario. Just the single name Sattler. I hope I'm getting it right. He wants to know, what did you say to Dimitri in the handshake? We just saw you exchange a few words.
Well, if you look, he talks to me first, and then as soon as he says something, I realize it's him. And then if you could read my lips, I go, "Oh, that was you." So that's where I kind of realized that that was him. Like, yeah, right there. So.
Yeah. And what's he saying to you here in the line that you can share with us anyway?
Well, most of it I can't share, but you know, he was telling me that you know, great save, and you know, obviously other words that I can't use on air, but but it was all in good fun.
Listen, there's one word in the game. I've said this many times before, but there's one word in hockey. Don Cherry's made this point before. If they banned it, you'd have to call a game. We'll leave it at that. Yeah, sure. The gold medal game. Skating out before a capacity crowd at GM Place is nothing new to you, but it would be foolish to suggest this wasn't different. What was going through your mind in the hours and the minutes before the game?
You know what? I was really happy it was a 12 o'clock game, so you didn't have much time to sit on it. You know, you woke up, you had breakfast, and you came right to the rink. And you know, once the game started, obviously the warm-up fans were really loud, and you know, the guys got excited to play, obviously. And to be honest with you, that wasn't the game that I was the most nervous. I think you know, the first game against Norway, I was pretty nervous, and then the first game against Germany, where I had to step in, and you know, the rest of the way, I felt that I was getting calmer and calmer as the tournament went on. And you know, even though it was a big game in the finals, I was definitely had some nerves. I mean, everybody did, but not as much as I anticipated.
When Zach Parise scored to deny you the opportunity to celebrate the gold medal in regulation time, what was going through your mind?
Well, again, there's a lot of words that went through my mind that I can't use on there, but obviously it was disappointing. I mean, it was very deflating to be so close and you know, to have a goal, you know, in the last few seconds of the game. But we came back to the locker room, and we had a chance to regroup. I mean, it was nice that you know, there was an intermission, and we were able to get back in the locker room as a team and you know, have a talk. And Babs came in and said a few words, and you know, just refocus.
So this is a fascinating topic, because we asked Drew Doughty about this last week. What was said in the room between periods? You know, the biggest moment of a lot of guys' hockey lives. Right. Did anyone stand up and make an inspirational speech, or was it all business?
It was a lot of business, but a few guys said a few words. You know, just you know, realizing that we're playing in overtime for the gold medal game, and you know, somebody, I think Babs is the one that really came in, you know, right before we went out and said that you know, let's go out there and enjoy it. Somebody's going to be a hero in this locker room, and you know, in Canada. So and he said, who is it going to be? And that was pretty much it. You know, we went out, and you know, we had some good chances early on right away in overtime, and obviously Sid, you know, how fitting that he scored the goal.
Now, is it actually starting to sink in for you now, like the reality of it? I mean, here we are talking about it, and of course you're back on the horse playing, but is the reality of having your name etched in history, in Canadian history and world hockey history, has that started sitting in now? I
don't know. It's weird. It kind of has and it kind of hasn't. You know, I think as soon as the tournament was over, I mean, a few hours later, all the guys were going their own ways, and you know, I was flying out the next day to Columbus and a big road trip. So I've just been back in town a couple days, so you know, you do realize certain things because you talk about it every day, and you know, the reporters and people in the street talk to you about it every day, and it's exciting and it's fun to reminisce. But at the same time, you kind of feel like it hasn't really sunk in yet, and probably this summer when you sit back and you think about it, that's when it's really gonna hit home.
You've been to the playoffs with the Canucks a couple of times, but clearly this was the biggest hockey stage on which you have ever performed. Did you feel you had anything to prove coming into the Olympics?
I think so. You know, there was a lot of talk. since the beginning of my career that I hadn't really won anything on a big stage, and I think that's one of the things that's really gratifying about winning that. I've won at every level that I've ever played, and unfortunately in the NHL I hadn't had great success in the playoffs. I mean, we won a couple rounds. I won a Game 7, quadruple overtime games and stuff like that, but obviously never a cup or anything like that. Not that I've had many opportunities in the playoffs.
Fair enough, exactly.
But, I thought it was a bit unfair, the criticism, but that's how you're judged in hockey, by winning. And this was a great moment for me in my career, and hopefully an even better moment will come the day we win the cup.
But the key ingredient about that, a lot of people don't recognize, is it's so team-oriented. Yep. And although you play an individual position, being a goalie, it's a very team-oriented game. One guy just can't take over and win a cup by himself. So oftentimes you hear people, say those things, but it's almost as though they forget that fact. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, it is a team game, and you need 20 guys to be playing at their best during the playoffs to win. I mean, we need everybody on board, and I think last year we had a great chance. I mean, I believed in our team. We had a great team, and I think we made some mistakes in the second round that we didn't make in the first rounds, and it kind of cost us. But at the end of the day, hopefully we learn from those mistakes, and this year, once the playoffs roll around, we're a bit more experienced, and we're gonna go further.
I just figured out how we could screw this up. We could go back to the brief time we played with Kevin Weeks on Long Island, 99, 2000. Now
he's my mentor. He was my mentor.
We haven't got time for that. Don't worry about that earpiece. You don't need to have it anymore. Teammate versus teammate is a feature of best-on-best tournaments like the Olympics. Your matchup with Ryan Kessler was interesting, to say the least. He started out by saying he hated Canadians, and then he said you were fighting the puck in the gold medal final. He told me at the end of the first period no reconciliation was required. What did you make of some of the things he said?
You know what? I was really, I was a little bit upset when I heard some of the stuff that he had said. But then, I remembered in my head that it's Ryan being Ryan. That's the way he is, and that's the way he plays. So, obviously, I was a little upset during the tournament when I heard those things. But once we got back to our club teams, we were good. I mean, I let him score one in the final just so he could have something to be happy about, and we took home the game.
That's a good trade-off, though. That's a good trade-off.
Everybody's happy. I think.
But I think most people conclude that he brought to the Team USA the same edge he brings to the Canucks.
Of course. I mean, that's the way he plays, and on the ice and off the ice, and sometimes he tries to get into your head, and that's the type of player that he is, and that's what makes him so successful. And like I said, I mean, I was a little bit upset, but at the end of the day, I knew that that's Ryan the way he is, and we're still good friends, and there's nothing really happened between us, as some people have said.
Okay, 30 seconds left for this final question. Is it true Alexander Burrows schooled you all in poker on the road trip?
Yeah, we heard that.
Yeah.
Well, I take a bad beat every time I play, so I've been in a bit of a slump. Yeah, I've been in a bit of a slump, but there's no chance that Burr's been schooled everybody. I think he likes to toot his horn a little bit, and he's a big bluffer. That's why he said that line, and he hasn't really come through with the wins.
Glad we got that straight. Roberto, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. Congratulations on the gold medal victory.
Congrats.
Nice seeing you. Thanks.
All right, Roberto Luongo, our guest on After Hours, the toast of Vancouver and Canada, for that matter, for his role in winning gold here a couple of weeks ago.